Are you wondering what to do at Universal Studios besides rides? That's what I'm talking about in this video. I'll be sharing my top 10 favorite things to do when you don't actually want to ride the rides. Be sure to watch to the end of the video though, because I have a trick you can do to get the most out of the rides even when you don't actually get on. Hi, I'm Nancy Basile with Plus Size Nerd. I created Plus Size Nerd to help women celebrate their curves and their fandoms. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe so that you know every time I post a video. And there are helpful links in the description. What can you do at Universal if you don't like rides? A ton of stuff. There's so much stuff. When my family and I went, I had a great time. And my husband doesn't ride any rides. And there were rides that I wasn't going to get on. Are you kidding me? What's it called? Rip Ride Rocket? No way was I getting on that sucker, but there's still so much to do that it is definitely worth the time and money. And don't pressure yourself to get on rides if you don't want to. On your vacation is not the time to push yourself outside your comfort zone. You're there to relax. You're there to have fun. So don't make it hard on yourself. It's okay if you don't want to ride rides. So some rides I'll ride and some I won't. And some I went on and closed my eyes the whole time. I probably shouldn't have gone on the Mummy. And if you don't like rides, let me know in the comments why. You might be surprised to find out that other people feel the same way. All right, here are my top 10 things to do at Universal Studios if you don't ride rides. Number 1, the Wizarding World. It has probably become the #1 attraction at Universal Studios, and it's certainly why I wanted to go, and it's why I want to keep going back time and time again. The Wizarding World at Universal Studios is fantastic, and there's so much to do there that you could truly spend a whole day in the Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade areas just shopping, going into the restaurants, looking in the windows. There's so much to do there. Just make sure you do it all. Don't hold back. Talk to Stun Shun Pike at the night bus. Knock on the door at number 12 Grimmauld Place. Go have the wand choosing ceremony at Ollivander's. Go buy your own wand and use it at all of the shop windows and restaurant windows to make magical things happen. Make sure you go down Nocturne Alley. Don't miss it. It's kind of hidden in the corner, and a friend of mine actually did miss it. Go into all the stores, because even within the stores, things are happening. Things are magical. In fact, this was my favorite purchase on my trip to Universal, and I got it at Borgin and Burkes. Ooh. Go to the Owl Post. Send yourself a postcard. There are so many things to do in the Wizarding World. Make sure you get in all of it. And if you're there during October, lucky you, because that's the Dark Arts Month. And they changed the light show on Hogwarts. There's Death Eaters everywhere. The lights are all green. It's all dark, and it's super spooky. Number 2, Hogwarts Express. Speaking of the Wizarding World, you have to ride the Hogwarts Express. I know that you don't like rides. That's fine. But the Hogwarts Express isn't really a ride. It's the train, obviously, that takes you between the Universal Studios theme park and Islands of Adventure, right? And make sure you ride it both ways, because it's different each way. You get to see different stuff. It was my favorite part of the whole park by far, because you are completely surrounded by the world of Harry Potter. There isn't anything that you can see anywhere that's not Harry Potter. And it's phenomenal. Things happen inside the car that I'm not going to share in case you go. I don't want to ruin the surprise. But even if you don't ride rides, don't be worried about getting on the Hogwarts Express. You should definitely make sure you have a park hopper ticket so that you can ride it back and forth. Number 3, New York City. When you're at Universal Studios Orlando, there's a whole area that looks like a little New York, and there's a lot to see there. You can walk around and take photos of yourself in front of all kinds of cool brownstones and storefronts. You can go inside Louis' Italian restaurant and get quick service food to go. And if you don't know what that is, that's the restaurant from The Godfather. There's shows that go on there, street shows, so you can take it all in. And secret hint, that's where the Starbucks is. Number 4, visit Springfield. I think Springfield gets overlooked. It's overshadowed almost literally by the Wizarding World. But if you're a Simpsons fan or even have a passing fandom with The Simpsons, you really got to see it. It's pretty cool. We went into Moe's Tavern. My kids got Flaming Moe's. That was so cool. You can get the big pink donut from Lard Lad. You can get tacos from Bumblebee Man's taco truck. You can take your picture with Barney, with Duff Man. If you drink, they have Duff beer and a little beer garden for you to enjoy. It's a really cool land. So even if you don't want to go on the Simpsons ride, there's a ton of stuff to do in Springfield that you will love. Number 5, see the shows. There are a ton of shows to see. Sometimes they happen on the street, sometimes they're scheduled. Just in the Wizarding World alone, you can see Celestina Warbeck. She puts on a whole show. They do a recreation of the Deathly Hallows story from the movie with the giant puppets and things. The Hogwarts Choir sings. You can see the opening dancing and singing from Goblet of Fire with Durmstrang and... where did Fleur Delacour go? Beauxbaton. Whew. If I didn't think of that, I was going to be really upset. There's a ton of stuff to see there. The light show on Hogwarts at night, beautiful. You can't miss it. In addition to that, there's lots of street shows. There's the Blues Brothers over in New York. There's also Marilyn Monroe and the Diamond Bellas. And depending on if there are any events going on when you're there, there might be special shows. Do you see what I mean so far? There is a ton of stuff to do at Universal, even if you don't like the rides. So if you're digging this video and you're liking some of these tips, give me a thumbs up. That way other Plus nerds will find it too. Number 6, shopping. I sort of mentioned shopping a second ago when I was talking about the Wizarding World, but there are so many shops, and depending on where you are in the parks, there are different themes. The shops in Seuss World or Seussical Land or whatever it is, completely different merchandise, obviously, than the superhero section or Jurassic World or whatever. So make sure you hit all the shops. Even if you don't buy a ton of stuff, I mean, this shirt is literally the only thing I bought on my whole trip. That's not true. I got a wand. What am I saying? I got a wand. But even if you don't buy a bunch of stuff, just going in there and seeing all the things is really, really fun. And you will find things at the Universal Studios stores in the parks that you're not going to find anywhere else. Number 7, special events. Universal Studios does a great job of having different themed seasons, holidays, and events. I was there during Mardi Gras, and trust me, they Mardi Gras'd it up. There were special parades, special shows. There was even a special section of the park that they had roped off with Mardi Gras themed food and games. Halloween Horror Nights has become huge at Universal, especially because of the popularity of The Walking Dead. There's a ton to see, and they usually have stars who come to Halloween Horror Nights. I mentioned that they have the Dark Arts Month in the Wizarding World during October, and then at Christmas time there are Christmas parades and holiday-themed shops, all kinds of stuff going on. So there's a lot to do. Depending on when you're there, you might get to see some special event stuff. Number 8, meet the characters. Get your picture taken. That's one of my favorite things to do at theme parks is have my photo taken with different characters. Universal has a lot of characters who walk around on a regular basis, and then they have characters who only show up for special occasions. Depending on when you're there, you might see Shrek and Fiona, you might see Captain America and Spider-Man, you might see Green Goblin or Doctor Doom, you might see the Simpsons family. Sometimes there are Dr. Seuss characters. I got my picture taken with Green Eggs and Ham's Ham. And there's a special experience in the Jurassic Park section where you can get your photo taken with Blue, the Velociraptor. Depending on when you're there, you might see trolls, you might see Gru and his minions, and sometimes you even get to see SpongeBob. So make sure you take those grammable photos with all the characters to get the most out of your visit. Number 9. Ride the water taxis. Now, what am I talking about? Universal has water taxis that ship people back and forth between the hotels and the theme parks. even if you're not staying on property, you can still get on one of the boats and ride it the whole way out and the whole way back. It's a lovely, relaxing ride. The scenery is beautiful, and the captains are sometimes pretty funny. We stayed at Portofino Bay, which is at the very end, and has like a big lagoon that the boat pulls up into, and the water taxi was one of the most enjoyable parts. And don't forget, you don't have to stay at a hotel to get on. Number 10, City Walk dining. So we ate at the Chocolate Emporium, which is on the City Walk outside the parks, where all like the restaurants and kind of arcades and some souvenir shops are. Oh my God. They have the giant milkshakes with the cupcakes on top. So good. There are all kinds of themed restaurants there. Margaritaville. There's a lot to just see and do there. So you can enjoy the City Walk even right outside the parks. So those are my top 10 things to do at Universal if you don't ride rides. And now I told you there would be a bonus tip, and here it is. Even if you don't want to actually ride the ride, stand in line. And not even the express lane, the regular line, because for most of the really big rides, like Escape from Gringotts, like Forbidden Journey, like Hagrid's whatever adventure, the park has set up experiences all through the lines. Gringotts especially, when you're standing in line, you get to see all these goblins working, and you get to see their offices, and you get to see all kinds of things. And in the Forbidden Journey ride, you make your way through Hogwarts, so you see all kinds of Hogwarts stuff inside. So even if you're not going to ride the ride, you can stand in line to see all the things, the Mirror of Erised, I don't even know, the Sorting Hat. And then when you get right up to the ride, just duck out the side door. No biggie. Nobody cares. Nobody has to know. But meanwhile, you've seen even more of the park than that you wouldn't have got to see if you hadn't stood in line. So that is my secret tip. So what sounds like the most fun thing you can do at Universal Studios if you don't like rides? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up so that other plus-size nerds can find it. And be sure to subscribe and tap that bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. If you want to know more about what to do at Universal Studios or any of the Orlando parks, I highly recommend visiting orlandoinformer.com. They have a lot of great free information about your trip. I'm Nancy Basile with Plus Size Nerd, and thanks for watching.